Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we learn about two most important transaction codes in SAP MM, which we use to see the stock overview of any material. If you are a SAP end user or a warehouse manager or you are into inventory management, then you need to know about these two T codes in detail. And today we'll learn what is the key differences between these two codes and how we can use these codes efficiently to take out maximum possible information. I'll discuss these two T codes, that is MMBE and MB52 in detail. We'll see in what situation we should use MMBE and in what situations we should use MB52, and we'll see some configurations also behind MMBE. But before we start, if you're new to my channel or haven't subscribed yet, I would request you to kindly subscribe to my channel. Your likes and subscriptions really motivate me to create more content. Now let's start. Now before we see these two reports, first let's see what does a stock overview contain. That is, when you see the stock overview of any material, what all parameters are shown on the screen. So as you can see here, the stock overview is divided into these three parameters, that is the stock hierarchy, the stock type and the stock commitment. Now what is the stock hierarchy? As we have seen in our organization structure video, that for MM the organization structure is aligned as you have a client, then a company code, then a plant and the storage location. So to maintain the inventory, you at least have a storage location. But when we talk about the stock hierarchy, we have two more levels. One is the batch and then you have special stock. So what does batch mean? If your material is managed in batches, that is you receive the material and you want to see which batch of the material was received, then you will have to activate batch management in the material master. And when you activate the batch management and then you do the goods receipt, you will have to enter the batch also along with the storage location. So below the storage location, you have another level that is called the batch. And then along with storage location and batch, you have something called as a special stock. Now what is a special stock? As we have seen in our special procurement series, that there are multiple procurement methods in which special procurement is done, like consignment or subcontracting. So when you deal with special procurement activities, you will have special stocks that you will manage. These special stock will have special stock indicators. Like the material which has been sent to the subcontracting vendor, the special stock indicator will be O. The material which you have received against the consignment order, for that the special stock indicator will be K. For project stock, the special stock indicator shall be Q. So in this way, you have a special stock indicator also that will be assigned to a stock. So in case of special stock procurement, this is also a level at which you will have to show the material stock. So in totality, you have these many levels at which you have to show the material stock overview. Then you have something called as a stock type. Stock type is to show that what type of stock you are dealing with. You will have these levels. At the applicable level, you may have any of these kind of stocks. So some of the stock type that I have mentioned here is the most important is the unrestricted use stock. Now what is unrestricted use? This is the stock which is available in your warehouse for immediate usage. That is the stock that you can use for your daily production activities, that you can issue from your warehouse. Then you have something called as a quality inspection stock. When you receive the material from the vendor, then you can receive that material under quality inspection. Now this stock you will not be able to use. First you will have to do the quality inspection, and when the material passes the quality inspection, then only you will transfer it to the unrestricted stock to further use it. Then you have blocked stock, where the material is not blocked for quality but for some other reason. Let's say that you have received the material, but you are yet to receive some documentation of that material. So although the material has been inspected, but you are not allowing anyone to issue that material unless you receive those documentation. So in that case, you will put that stock under blocked category. Then you have something called a stock in transit. We have already discussed in the stock transfer process videos that when you use the stock transport order and when you issue the material from the sending plant, the stock will remain in transit until you receive and do the goods receipt at the receiving plant's end. Then you have something called as customer returns. Then that when you have sold some material to the customer and they are found faulty, so customer returns those material. So these type of stocks are there in your system, and SAP will show all these kind of stock types in the stock overview reports, that is MMBE and MB52. You will have all these stock types shown on the screen. You have to understand what type of stock you are dealing with. Okay. Then the third parameter that is shown on the stock overview screens is called stock commitment. Now, what is stock commitment? Stock commitment means that there are certain documents against which your stock may be consumed or you may receive the stock. For example, there is something called as on order stock. Now, what does this mean? On order stock means you have placed purchase order for this particular quantity, and when you receive that, then you may get those stock in any of these stock types under any of the stock hierarchy. So this is a stock commitment which is not yet fulfilled. So you can get an idea that how many quantity you are yet to receive. They are not part of your stock types or stock hierarchy. They are still to be received. Okay. Now this on order stock can be shown at any level in the stock hierarchy based on the entries that you have done in the purchase order. Let's say that you have entered storage location in the purchase order, then on order stock will be shown at the storage location level. Let's say that you have not entered the storage location, then this on order stock will be shown at plant level. Okay, then you have reserved stock, the stock for which you have created reservations in the system. Again, this is a commitment. Unless you post the reservation, the stock will not get reduced. So this is like a stock commitment. You will come to know that this much quantity someone requires. And when this reservation is posted, your stock will get reduced. Then you have receipt reservation, which is reversal of this. You will create reservation with reversal movement type like 202, 262. These reservation when posted will increase your stock. So again, this is kind of a stock commitment. Then you have GR blocked stock. We have already discussed this in our two-step GR process in our previous video, where you post a 103 document. And when you post the 103 document, the system sends the stock to GR blocked stock. And when you create the GR, then you will receive the stock in your warehouse. Then you have schedule for delivery in cases where you have created the delivery document, but you have not posted the goods issue document. We have already seen in the stock transfer process videos that in case of STO with delivery, first you create a delivery document and then you post goods issue. So once you create a delivery document, then the stock will be shown under schedule for delivery. And then when you post the goods issue, then the stock will move to stock in transit of the receiving plant. Okay. Then you have consignment ordered, where you create the consignment PO and then it will be shown in the stock commitment column. So these are some examples of stock commitment which will be shown in the MMBE report output, and you will be able to verify that what all stock commitments are there for that material. Now, one thing you need to understand is that in the T code MMBE, you will be able to see the stock commitments, but in the T code MB52, this stock commitment will not be shown. So this is the major difference between MMBE and MB52, that if you want to see the stock commitments, then you will have to see in MMBE. In MB52 output, these stock commitments will not be shown. It will only show your warehouse stock position. So it will show the stock hierarchy and it will show the stock types. It will not show the stock commitments. The next difference which is between MMBE and MB52 is that in MMBE, you can only run the stock report for one and only one material code. You cannot check the stock for multiple material codes at one time. You will have to enter one material code and you can check it in multiple plants and storage locations, but you can check stock of only one code. In the MB52 transaction, you can run the stock report for multiple material codes. So this is also a major difference. Now let us see in SAP how MMBE report is run and how these figures are shown on the MMBE screen. And then we'll see in MB52 also how these values are appearing. And we'll see what is the advantages and disadvantages of both these T codes. Okay, so let's start. So first let's see T code MMBE. So you can see this is the input screen for MMBE transaction. So in the input you have material code, plant, storage location and batch. And you can see for plant, storage location and batch you have multiple selection available. But for material you can enter only one material code. So as we discussed in MMBE, you can check the stock overview for one material code at a time. Then you can see the stocks type selection is there. Here you have these two check boxes. So if you activate this checkbox, then only you will be able to see the special stocks. As we have already discussed, the special stock indicator is for special procurement processes like consignment, subcontracting. So if you select this checkbox, then only system will show you the special stocks. Then this is the checkbox to show the stock commitments. As we have discussed, the stock commitments are reservation, receipt reservation, on order stock, schedule for delivery, GR blocked stock. All those columns will be shown when we select this. Also select stock commitments. Then here you have special stock indicator. Now this will work only when you have selected this. So let's say that you only want to see the subcontracting stock. So you'll have to enter the special stock indicator here. If you take a drop down for subcontracting stock, you can see the special stock indicator is O. So if you enter O here, and if the material has some subcontracting stock, then that will be shown on the screen. So this is to filter out the special stocks. Then this is very important. The display version actually tells you what all columns will be shown. The columns will show the stock types and the stock commitments. So this particular version is configured in the background, that is done by the MM consultant, based on which those columns will be shown. We'll see in the configuration where this display version is configured. Then this display unit of measure will work when you have multiple unit of measurements for a material. Let's say that your unit of measurement, that is the base unit of measurement for a material, is kg, and you want to see in tons. Then what you will do is you will enter ton here, and then you will execute. Then system will auto convert the quantities and will show the unit of measurement that you have entered in this particular field. Always remember that this particular field will only work when the material allows multiple unit of measurement and they have a conversion ratio. Then this particular checkbox is important, that if you select this checkbox, then system will not show zero stock line. Let's say that a material is extended in multiple storage location, but in some of the storage location no stock is there. So if you deselect this checkbox, then system will show all the storage locations and will show quantity as nil in those storage locations where no stock is there. But if you select this checkbox, then system will remove all those storage locations or plants or the elements in the hierarchy level where stock is not available. So this will actually give a clean output if you select this checkbox. Then this decimal place as per unit checkbox is also important, that normally the system shows all the stocks with 3 decimal places. If you do not select this checkbox, system will always show you the stock with 3 decimal places. If you select this checkbox, then system will show the material up to the decimal places which is allowed for the unit of measurement of the material. Let's say that the unit of measurement is each. Then as you know, for each the decimal places are nil, that is no decimal places are allowed. So if you select this checkbox, then system will show without decimal places. If you do not select this checkbox, system by default will show up to 3 decimal places. Then aggregated stock is for triple F material, that is for interchangeable material. If you have multiple materials which are marked as interchangeable, then if you select this checkbox, then system will show the aggregated stock. If you do not mark, then system will show the individual stock. So this is all about the input of the MMBE transaction. Now let us enter a material code and see how system shows the stock. So if I simply enter a material code and do not enter anything in the plant or storage location or batch, system will show the stock against all the plants. Because I am not entering the plant code, then system will show me the stock which is available against all the plants. So let's execute this. So now you can see system is showing me the hierarchy in the first column, and then system is showing me the stock types in these columns. So each row represents a hierarchy level. So the hierarchy level will start with the client. You can see this hierarchy level mentioned here also. You have client, then company code, then plant, then storage location, then batch, and then special stock. So these levels are shown in this particular columns. So you have client which is shown as full. Then this is the company code, and then you have these plants under that company code. Okay, so you can see the figure also which is shown for each level. So you have client shown by this particular figure, then you have company code shown by this particular figure, then you have plant code shown by this particular figure, then you have storage location shown by this particular figure. So you have a client, then company code, then plant, then storage location. Again, this is another plant, and then you have a storage location, then you have another plant and a storage location, and a plant and a storage location, and a separate company code. So here you can see you have 2 company codes, and you have these many plants, and you have these many storage locations. Now if you want to collapse everything, then you can click on this particular button and system will collapse every level. And then when you want to expand, then you can click on this particular level and system will expand up to the lowest level. Now if you expand manually, if I expand at the client level, system will show me at the first level, that is the company code level. Then if I expand at the company code level, then system will show me at the plant level. So you can see there are 3 plants under this company code. Then if I expand at the plant level, system will show me at the storage location level. And if I had batch activated for this material, then system will show me the batch also below this particular storage location. So you can see here, this is how the hierarchy is shown in the MMBE transaction. So you can see 2 company codes are there, under which 1 plant is there under this company code and 3 plants are there under these company codes. And because I have selected no zero stock line, so system will filter out all those levels at which no stock is available. If I remove this, then system will show me against all plant and storage locations where this material is extended. Now again, let us go to the output. So you can see the hierarchy is shown in the first column and the stock types are shown in the subsequent columns. So to see the stock against any stock type, you have to match this column and this row. So you have hierarchy levels against each rows and you have stock types against these columns. And these numbers that you see on the screen, you have to verify by matching the column and the row. Let's say that I am clicking this particular cell, then these 5 quantities under this plant and this column. This column says unrestricted use. So under this plant, I have 5 quantity available. Then if you see 10 here, then under this plant, I have 10 quantity available under quality inspection. If I see 10 here, then I have reserved quantity for 10 under this plant. And system will add up the hierarchy and show at the top level also. So you have 10 at this plant and then same 10 is shown at the company code level and then 10 is shown at the client level. So system will keep on adding up based on the hierarchy level and will show at each level in particular stock type. So now you can see on the screen that in the on order stock column, you have 44 lying under this plant and 5 shown under this particular storage location. Now the reason that these 5 quantities are showing against this storage location is that in the purchase order we have entered this storage location for 5 quantity only. For remaining 39 quantity, we have not entered the storage location. So system is aggregating the total quantity to 44, but for 39 quantities, the storage location is not there in the PO line, and for the 5 quantities, the storage location is entered in the PO line. So in this way, system is aggregating the on order stock at plant level, and system will show you the on order stock quantity at storage location level only when you have entered that particular storage location in the PO line. Similarly, you can see in this plant you have 5 quantity on order stock, and for this particular company code and this plant you have 84 quantity. So at the client level it is showing the sum of all these quantities, that is at both the company code level you have 49 at this company code and 84 at this particular company code. So at the client level you have 49 plus 84, that is 133. Now if you want to see what all purchase orders are there against which this open quantity is shown, so you can click on this cell and you can go to environment and open purchase orders. And in the to be delivered column, if you sum, you will find that particular quantity appearing here. So you can see here, so 44 quantity is the open order quantity that is shown in the MMBE screen. And for this particular 5 quantity that you see here, you have storage location also entered in the PO line. For other, storage location is not entered. So in this way, this 5 quantity is shown against the storage location and this 44 is shown against the plant. If we go back, we can verify. So total 44 quantity is shown against this plant, out of which 5 are shown against this particular storage location. Similarly, for other plants also, you can go and see through this particular environment and open purchase order. Then you have reserved column where system shows the quantity which is reserved through creation of reservations. So this 10 quantity you can see at the plant level. Here also, if you enter a storage location in your reservation, then system will show you this quantity at storage location level. And if you want to see what all open reservations are there for this particular material, then you can go to environment and reservations. If you click on this, system will show you all open reservation which is there for this particular quantity. So you can see 10 quantity has been reserved with movement type 201 and this is the reservation number. So if you go back, this 10 quantity is shown. Then you have receipt reservation where you create reservation with reversal movement type. And again, if you want to see the list of reservation, then you have to click on this cell, go to environment and click on reservations. So you can see here 10 quantity is created with movement type 202 and this particular reservation number is 628. So this particular 10 quantity as receipt reservation with movement type 202 and this particular 10 quantity as reserved quantity with movement type 201 is shown in the MMBE screen in these 2 columns as you can see here, and these are the reservation numbers. So if we go back, you can see this 10 quantity as reserved and this 10 quantity as receipt reservation. Then you have these quality inspection stocks which you have posted. When you do GR, you can select this particular stock type and it will be shown under the relevant level. So this end quantity is under this particular storage location and then aggregated up to the plant level and then aggregated up to the company code and client level. Then if you scroll right, you will have other stock types also. So you have GR blocked stock for 5 quantity. Now what is GR blocked stock? Where you do two-step goods receipt, you create 103 document, and until you create 105 document, system will show under this GR blocked stock. So this is also a stock commitment which is shown in MMBE. And you can see at this plant level, this GR blocked stock will be shown. Now why GR blocked stock is shown at plant level? Because when you create 103, you do not enter any storage location. When you create 105, then you will enter a storage location and then your GR blocked stock will get removed and it will get updated against the unrestricted use stock in that particular storage location level. So this is all about GR blocked. So this is GR blocked stock. Then you have schedule for delivery. This is where you have created the delivery document and have not posted the goods issue document. So this particular 5 quantity is for which the delivery has been created under this particular storage location and system shows in the hierarchy that 5 under storage location aggregated up to the plant, company code and the client level. Then this blocked stock also you can post when you do the GR. You select stock type as blocked and here also you have entered 15 as your blocked stock. So you can see all these columns are the stock types which we discussed earlier and these rows are the levels at which the stock is shown. So you have to connect these levels and these stock types, and each entry that you see here is the combination of the stock type and the particular level. So if you see 5 quantity here, this is the unrestricted use quantity against this particular storage location under this particular plant. Now you see there are certain entries that are shown under stock provided to vendor, vendor consignment. Now what are these stocks? What is this one quantity here which is shown as stock provided to vendor under this particular plant? So this is the special stock which is there for this particular material code. System will write the description of the special stock indicator. So stock provided to vendor means this is a subcontracting stock that you have sent to the vendor and the special stock indicator is O. If you double click this one quantity, then system will show under which vendor this quantity is lying. So if you double click here, you can see this particular vendor, you can see the material has been sent to this particular vendor. And if you have issued material to multiple vendors, then system will show all those suppliers here and then will show the aggregated quantity in this particular cell. Now if you see, you have another vendor consignments also. So this is a case of special stock indicator K, where you have received the material in the consignment warehouse, and if you double click here, again you will be able to see the supplier against which you have received, and here you have storage location also. So when you create a consignment PO, you also enter a storage location. So you have stock type vendor consignment, plant is this particular plant, and storage location is this particular storage location, and against this supplier you have this much stock available. And if you have received material under the consignment stock with multiple supplier, then all those supplier will be shown here in this particular screen, and all those stock will get added and will be shown at this particular cell. So whenever you see these kind of special indicators mentioned here, you have to go to this particular cell and double click, and then you have to see under which special stock identifier you have this stock available. So this is all about the MMBE transaction, that how you can see everything on this MMBE screen. Now you can see there are certain columns which you can see here, those are the stock types. But if you double click of any of these non-special stock cells, let's double click here, you will see that system will open up multiple rows here. System will show you what all possible stock types are there for this material and where the quantity is lying. So you can see here all these stock types are applicable for this material, and you can see these values here. Now if I close this, you are not able to see every column in this particular screen. If I double click here, you will be able to see all kind of stocks. Let's say that you have a stock in transit 5 being shown here. But if you go to this particular screen again, you will not find any stock in transit column. You can see here, you will not find any stock in transit column appearing here. Let me just show you. You can see here no stock in transit column is there. But if I double click here, I can see 5 quantity is lying in stock in transit. So how I can put this column in this particular screen? So for that you have this particular field. If I go back, for that you have this particular display version field. And this is controlled through a particular configuration. Let me just show that. So we'll go to SPRO. SAP reference IMG, materials management, inventory management. Then we'll go to reporting, and you see here defined stock list display. If I go here, you can see there is display version that we entered there. One is this display version. If we go back, this is rules for display of stock balances. Here you have the version, window and the column number. So under each column, what fields are shown here is configured here. So you can see unrestricted use, quality inspection, reserved, receipt reservation, all these columns that you were seeing on the MMBE output. Let me just show you again. If I execute this, you can see unrestricted use, quality inspection, reserved, receipt reservation, all these are configured here. So whatever you want to see on the screen, you have to add that field here, and then only you will be able to see on the MMBE output. So let's say that I want to see stock in transit also. In that case, I'll have to add in the version. So I'll add that. So the last window is 6. So I'll add a new version and window row. So I'll add version 1, window 7. And column number 1, and here I'll have to select that particular field. So you see the stock in transit field is TRAME. I'll select this and I'll save. Now let us again see the stock in MMBE. Now if I scroll right, you can see the stock in transit column has come up now. So this is the way you can add a particular column in the MMBE output. You will have to go to the configuration here, and then you will have to add under the version, window and column number. You will have to add the field name, and this particular version you enter in the input of the MMBE. You can see here this version we enter here. So this is how we can add a particular stock type column here, and you can see the full overview of the material. So you can see 5 quantities lying in transit also under this plant, which was not visible earlier in MMBE, which we added through configuration, and then we can see here. Or you can just double click any of the cells, and then you can see all the kind of stocks which are there for this particular level. So you can see the plant is here. Under this plant, all these stocks are lying, which you can see in this particular report. This will contain all types of stocks which are available for this particular material. If that particular column is not visible in MMBE and you want to show it, then you will have to go to the configuration and add that particular field, that as we did just now. So this is all about MMBE. One more thing let me cover. Right now you can see all the quantities are shown with 3 decimal places. Although the unit of measurement is each, but by default system shows every stock with 3 decimal places. If I want to see the quantity in the decimal places in which this particular unit of measurement is configured, then I'll have to go back and I'll have to select this particular checkbox, decimal place as per unit, and then I'll have to execute. Now you can see system is showing me without any decimal places, because this is the configuration of this particular unit of measurement. If you want to verify the unit of measurement, then you can go to T code CUNI. Let me just show you. I'll go to T code CUNI. Then I'll click on unit of measurement. And if I go to each, and if I double click here, you can see decimal places are blank. So there are no decimal places allowed for each. And that's why if I selected this particular checkbox, you can see decimal places as per unit, that is as per the unit of measurement of this material. And then I executed, system showed me all the quantities without the decimal places. So by default, if I deselect this checkbox, system will show me with three decimal places. If I execute, you can see with 3 decimal places, and if I select this checkbox, then system will take the decimal places allowed as per the unit of measurement of the material in the configuration, and then will show the output in that particular format. Now from this screen itself, if you want to see stock of any other material code, then you are not supposed to go back. You can enter the material code here itself and then click on this button. This is for new selection. If you click this button, system will update the screen with the stock of this particular material code. So you're not supposed to go back in this particular screen. You can simply enter the new material code here, and then you can click on this new selection. And then the stock of that particular material will be updated on the screen. Now if you're in this screen and you are doing some goods movement, then you can simply refresh the screen by clicking on this button, and the stock position will get refreshed on this particular screen output. So you're not supposed to again go back and then execute. If you are doing some goods movement and then you again come back to this screen, then you can simply click on this refresh button and the system will refresh the stock position on the screen output. Okay, so these are 2 buttons which are available in MMBE. So this is all about MMBE. Now let us see how we can see the stock overview in MB52 transaction and what all difference are there between MMBE and MB52. So let's see that. So now let's see the transaction code MB52. So we'll go to MB52. Now you can see here, unlike MMBE, you have multiple selection in the material field also. So in MMBE, let's see again, in MMBE, you had only one material allowed for entry. If you go to MMBE, you can see multiple selection button is not available for the material code. But in MB52, you can enter multiple material codes. And also material field is a non-mandatory field in MB52 input. Here, without entering the material code, you cannot execute. Okay, so you cannot see all the material stock against a particular plant. You will have to enter a material code. If I remove this and if I try to execute, system will give me an error that generic searches are not allowed. I'll have to enter a material code. If I enter a material code, then system will give me across all the plants. Now if I remove the material code and if I enter simply a plant and execute, then also system will tell me that generic searches are not allowed. So I cannot see all the stock available in a plant. I'll have to enter a material code and then execute. But in MB52, I can just execute this transaction without entering any of these inputs. But it is recommended that you at least a plant or a list of material code so that the execution time is less. So if I want to see all the stocks against a plant, so I'll enter the plant here simply, and then I can execute. So if I enter plant and execute, system will show me all the stocks which are lying under this particular plant. Now let me just go back. You can see here there are two radio buttons. One is hierarchical representation and one is non-hierarchical representation. Now what is this? If I select hierarchical representation, system will show me in the same hierarchy as it showed in MMBE. You saw that system was showing under company code, plant, storage location, batch, special stock. The same way here also system will show me. Let me just enter a material code and give an example. So I'll enter a material code. And if we see the hierarchical representation, if I execute this, you can see system is showing me in a hierarchy. So you can see these are the columns. So you have material, material description, plant name 1. So you have this material code, then description and this plant. Then under this you have storage location which is shown here. Then a special stock which is shown like this. Then special stock number. Now the special stock number depends upon the kind of special stock. So if special stock is O, then here it will be a vendor code. Special stock is K, then again it will be a vendor code. If the special stock is Q, then system will show you the WBS element. So depending upon the type of special stock indicator, system will show you what is the special stock identifier. Then you have unrestricted stock and value of the stock. So under this you have quantity 1 and this value, under this you have quantity 5 and this value, and under this particular special stock you have quantity 10 and there is no value. Then you have all these columns of the stock types that we just saw. So you have transit transfer, quality inspection, restricted use, blocks, but all this is appearing in a hierarchical fashion. If I go back and remove the plant here, and then if I execute it again, you can see all these plants are now shown in a hierarchical manner. So you have this plant MM01, then you have another plant, then this plant and this plant. All these 4 plants are shown in a hierarchical fashion. So you have a plant and a storage location, and then the quantity, then another plant, storage location, quantity, then another plant, storage location, special stock and the quantities. So you have all these plants and storage locations shown in a hierarchy. Then one more difference that you would be seeing is in MB52 you can also see the value of the material. In MMBE the value of the material is not shown, that is the stock value is not shown in MMBE. The stock value you can see in MB52. So if you want to download the stock overview in Excel and then you want to analyze, then you should always use the non-hierarchical representation. Now what system will do is in non-hierarchical representation, every stock hierarchy level it will show in a separate column. So it will show a plant, storage location, special stock indicator, special stock indicator, identifier, everything it will show in a separate column. You saw that in hierarchical it was showing in separate rows. If you go again, you can see you have a plant, then a storage location, then you have a plant, storage location, special stock indicator. All these it will show in separate columns, not in separate rows. If I go back, let me just show you. If I select non-hierarchical representation and again execute, Then you can see the plant is shown in a column, storage location is shown in another column, special stock indicator is shown in this column, and special stock number is again shown in this particular column. And based on every possible combination of these hierarchy level, you will have stock shown in this particular column. So all these stock types that you can see here, unrestricted, and if I go right, you have value of unrestricted, then you have transit transfer, you can see 5 quantity which we showed in MMBE also, you have here. Then you have all these stock types. You can see here all these stock types are shown. Now in MMB we saw that we can add a column through configuration. So if you are end user, then you do not have any option to add any columns. You will have to just double click on any cell and see all kind of stocks. But in MB52 as an end user also, you have the facility to change the layout of this particular report. You can do that by clicking on this particular button. You have change layout button. Here you can see these are the columns which are shown on the screen, and here are the hidden fields which you can send it to the shown columns and then view in the MB52 output. So you can see material description is here, plant name is here, material type, material group. All these are not shown in MMB. Material type, material group are not shown in MMB that you can show here. Then you have other things also, evaluated goods receipt. Every other stock type that is not shown you can see by sending all these columns in the displayed columns section and then clicking on OK. So you can see system will add up all those columns in your output. Okay, so this is how MB52 is helpful, that in MB52 you get some additional columns like value of the material, material type, material group, all these you see, and you can add multiple stock types by just going to this change layout icon and changing the layout of this particular report. But one thing that you see in MB52 which is not available, which was available in MMB, is the stock commitment. So on order stock, GR blocked stock, reservations, receipt reservations, all those values are not visible in MB52 output, because the purpose of MB52 output is to show the warehouse stock of the material. You can see the name of this report is display warehouse stocks of material. So it does not show you the stock commitments. It only shows what all stock you have in hand. And if I go back, you have other input fields also like material type, material group, purchasing group. So from the material master also it will take some data and then will show you the report. That is, if you want to see a stock of a particular material type, then you can enter in this particular transaction. This was not possible in MMBE. In MMBE, you cannot see the stock through material group entry or material type entry. You have to enter a material code. But let's say that you do not know the material code, or you want to see a particular stock overview for a group of materials. So we'll simply enter a material group here. And if you enter a plant also and then execute, you will be able to see all stocks under this material group and plant combination. So this is how you can run this MB52 report. So you can see here all those materials which lie under that material group, that is in all the material master where that material group is entered. For all those materials and this plant combination, system has given you the stock overview report. So these are some extra input and output fields that you get in MB52. Then again here also you have also a select special stock, which was there in the MMBE also. If you deselect this checkbox, then system will not show you the special stocks. Let me just show you. If I deselect this checkbox and then execute, you will see the special stock column will no longer be seen. So the consignment stock, subcontracting stock now will not be shown on the screen. And if I go back and select this particular checkbox and then execute, then you will see these stocks. There are special stock indicators are again shown on the screen, and you will be able to see these stocks also. So this is the significance of this checkbox. And if you want to see only, let's say, the subcontracting stock, so you'll have to enter the special stock indicator O here, and then you have to execute. So you can see system will show you the subcontracting stocks and system will show you the normal stocks also. So system will filter out all other special stocks. So this particular input field is to filter out other special stocks. In any case, system will show you the normal stocks. But if you enter a special stock indicator, system will filter out other special stocks. You can see if I remove this, I had consignment and subcontracting both in our particular material. You can see K and O was also there, and non-special stocks were also there. But if I go back and enter O here, then I'll only see the stock with the special stock indicator O and the non-special stocks. If I execute it, you will see the O and other non-special stocks will be listed. Okay, so this is the significance of this particular input field. Then you have these check boxes. So if you select this, then the batch stocks will be shown. If you deselect this, then the batch stocks will not be shown in the output. Then you have no zero stock line, again like in MMBE also. Here also, if you select this, then wherever the stock is not available, system will not show. That is against all the material types. If the stock is not there, then system will not show that particular row. If I select this and then execute, then it will filter out all those material where no stock is lying. So you will only see where material has the stock. Okay, now you can see a 0 is also coming here because this material will have stock under any other stock type. If I scroll right, you will find that in any other stock type, this will have a quantity. If I scroll right, you can see 5 is lying in stock in transit. So system will see against all stock types, and then if system finds that nil stock is there against all stock types, then only system will filter out that particular row in the output of MB52. Okay, so this is the significance of this particular checkbox. Then if you select this checkbox, then system will not show you the values of the stock. Let's say that you want to take a printout of the warehouse stock only, you do not want to show the value, then you can select this checkbox and then execute. Then you will be able to see only quantity, and the value column system will remove against each stock type. If I go back and remove this checkbox, you can verify that earlier we were seeing the stock values also. If I scroll right, you can see this value unrestricted is shown here. You can see here this value unrestricted is shown here. If I go back and again activate this checkbox and then execute, then this value column will be removed. You can see here no value column is shown. Okay, so this is the significance of this particular checkbox. So in this way, you can see that MB52, you have multiple material input allowed. Then you can run through material group, material type and purchasing group also. Then you have a change layout available also. And if you save your layout, let me just show you. Let me just execute this. And let us say that we are going to add this particular material description also in the layout. So I'll just send it here and I'll copy. So you have description also. Then let me just save this. So I'll go to settings, layout, saving, and I'll enter some name and description, and I'll save. Now if I want to use the same layout every time when I run the MB52, then I can go back and I can enter this layout here. So if I take a drop down, you can see this layout is available. And if I select this layout and then execute, I'll always get the description in my columns. You can see here, I had created a layout and then I have entered that layout in the input. So in that way, system will by default show me the report in that particular layout. So you have also an option to save the layout and enter the layout in the input screen itself. So in MMB, you saw that this was possible only through configuration, but in MB52, you can save the layout and then you can execute your transaction. The disadvantage in MB52 is that stock commitments will not be shown. That is on order stock, GR blocked stock, reservations, these entries will not be shown in MB52 because this report is specifically to see the warehouse stock of any material or any plant. So this is all about MMBE and MB52. You have seen what is the basic differences between these two reports, and you have seen what is the advantages and disadvantages of both these reports. My recommendation is that you use MMBE when you have to see a stock overview and stock commitments also, and you want to navigate to the commitment documents also, that is the purchase order or that the reservations. One more thing I would like to cover here is if you go to MMBE again and if you execute, from here you can go to the material movements also. If I go to environment, you have this material movement option also. If I click this, system will just run MB51 and show me what all movements have happened against this particular material. So this is another advantage in MMBE. So my recommendation is you use MMBE when you have to see these stock commitments and you want to see a stock overview in a single screen, and you have to see the stock overview for a single material. When you have to take a report of your warehouse stock, then you should use MB52. There you will have inputs for material code also, material type also, and in the output also you will have the option to save your layout and change the layout. In MMBE as an end user, you will not have that particular facility, but in MB52 you will be able to save. And if you want to save the inputs also, then you can save the variant through this particular link. If you click on this save, you can enter a variant here, and then you can use this variant or every time when you run the report. Let's say that I make a variant here, and if I save this, then you have these two material and plant entered here, and every time if I want to use this variant, I'll have to click here, and then I can use this variant. So I can use the variant and the layout functionality in MB52 also. If I have saved a layout, I can enter the layout here, you can see here, and then I can execute. So this is all about transaction MMB and MB52. I hope that you've understood the concept, and I hope that you've liked this video. This was a long video because I wanted to cover everything about these two T codes. If you are an end user, especially if you are an inventory manager or a warehouse manager, then these two reports are very important for you, and I hope that I have covered everything possible for these two transaction codes. If you like this video, then please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thanks a lot.